Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management, joined by Jill Martin, estate planning attorney at Annex Wealth Management. Welcome back.
Thanks, Danny.
So this segment was inspired by a recent conversation you had with a client regarding trustees, and he was driven to a point of frustration and exclaimed something to you.
Yeah, he basically didn't want to leave his kids with the headache of being a trustee because he was going through it with his dad and just decided, I'm going to simplify everything and make everything payable on death to my kids.
This is your world. You see this all the time, but I see this with my friends and family where messes, poor kids have to just dig through messes, and then others, it just goes so clean.
It does. And that really goes to a certain point of how much did you do during your lifetime to properly plan your estate, get it in good order so that it's really easy for your kids after you're gone.
So here we are, and we're going to have a little chat about how to make things easier for your trustee, because bottom line, if the I's aren't dotted and the T's aren't crossed, those left behind trying to figure out aspects of an estate plan will be pulling their hair out. Let's start with a couple of definitions. First off, I hear executor, I hear trustee, I hear all sorts of things. Let's start with trustee.
Yeah, so a trustee is a person that you name that has the fiduciary duty and responsibility to kind of settle all of your final affairs after you've passed away. And that's done when you use a revocable trust as part of your main estate planning document.
Why do I think that sounds like an executor?
Because it does. So an executor has all of those same responsibilities, but an executor works operating under a last will and testament and has to be legally appointed by the court so that the probate court supervises what that executor does.
How often are trustees confused with executors?
All the time, right? Because they have the same function. So their job is to wrap up and settle someone's affairs after they passed away. It's just a matter of, is it under a last will and testament or is it under a revocable trust agreement? So they have the same duties, but it actually gets to be kind of a fine point that we have to clarify.
So let's go back to the client's frustration with being a trustee when his dad died. What kinds of things was he experiencing?
Yeah, so the number one thing here was that his dad had not really organized his financial affairs. He had probably 10 or 15 different accounts in the name of his trust or payable to his trust. So the son, as the trustee, had to go contact all of these different financial organizations and institutions to start collecting assets and get information and say, hey, I'm the trustee now that my dad's died. So it was a lot of work just to gather information, much less figure out, now what do I do going forward?
You want to make things easier for your heirs. I mean, absolutely, positively, you got to consolidate.
Yeah, and so that's the number one thing that I talk to people about a lot is we have a lot of clients who they like to diversify and have things with multiple advisors and multiple banks and financial institutions. And as we get older, that gets harder for you to track, but it's almost nearly impossible for your family to figure out. So what we want to do is start kind of consolidating that stuff down. Use one primary banking institution. Use one primary investment advisor or a brokerage firm. It just makes things so much easier for someone else to step into your shoes and manage your financial life.
Wouldn't it just stink if you had money that really should be going to your loved ones and it's just out on an island and you've forgotten about it?
And that happens. That happens more often than we think with random old life insurance policies that nobody knew about or an old brokerage account that has just lingered out there for so long you've forgotten it even exists.
Oh, yeah. Hey, what's it mean when you suggest that when using a trust, you need to fund it? Is that fund like money fund?
Fund it. So what we talk about with a revocable trust is you need to get assets titled into the name of the trust. So instead of Danny Clayton owning a brokerage account, right? The brokerage account is titled in the Danny Clayton Revocable Trust account, okay? And what that means is that brokerage account is owned by that trust, so it's already there. It's really easy for your trustee to take that over after you're gone.
Well, it sounds more big time for me, too. I got an irrevocable trust.
Well, there
How
you
about
go.
that? Yeah.
I just upgraded you.
Thank you. Housekeeping standpoint, who is it that does this?
A lot of times it's the work of the client. So when you go and you put that estate plan together, most estate planning attorneys are going to give you a nice letter of instruction that says, here are the accounts that you need to title into the name of your trust. Here are what your beneficiary designations need to say so we get things into your trust. And then what happens is it's on the client to go ahead and kind of go through their financial statement and say, I did it for my IRA here, and I did it on my 401k, and I did this on my house, and I did this on my vacation property, right? it's on the client to do that. And a lot of clients don't. And that's where trustees run into a lot of frustration.
I frustrated my boys so much when they were 16, 17 years old. I think I can not do it when I'm no longer here. How about that?
That's a fair statement,
Yeah,
but some people don't think about it. They think, hey, I did this great estate plan and I'm done.
Yeah.
But there's follow through and homework that needs to be done.
For investment, retirement planning, tax planning, and estate planning, we do it as a fee-only fiduciary. Know the difference. Website, annexwealth.com. Click that Get Started button. Start the wealth metric process. Jill Martin, estate planning attorney at Annex Wealth Management. Thank you.
You're welcome.